The ERi-TV news broadcast crew and I, Delayed Sahai, are now ready for your daily news briefing at 10:30 local time. First, let us catch up with the major headlines. Successful cataract surgery performed on over 400 patients. Congress of the National Council of Eritrean-Americans commences. Pentagon strikes 2 7-year deal with defense against the boost missile production. And China warns the European Union over the protectionist measures. Proceeding with our reports. The Sudanese Al-Basir ophthalmology team, in collaboration with the Eritrean medical experts, successfully performed eye surgeries on over 400 patients at Keren Hospital from 20th to 26th of July. Dr. Alam Zakarias, head of the blindness control at the Ministry of Health, said that prior to the surgeries, eye examinations were conducted on about 3,000 patients. Of those, 406 underwent surgery, while others were provided with eyeglasses. Noting that the program was a part of the national campaign to control blindness, Dr. Alam said that the surgeries conducted in collaboration with the Sudanese Al-Basir ophthalmology team was part of the ongoing effort to prevent and treat blindness. Dr. Alam further stated that cataract, trachoma, and other ophthalmic diseases can be treated through medication or surgery. He urged citizens experiencing eye complications to seek treatment from medical professionals and advised patients who had undergone surgery to properly use the prescribed medicine. Dr. Yafit Haile Mikael, medical director of Keren Referral Hospital, indicating that surgeries conducted in collaboration with the Sudanese Al-Basir ophthalmology team were the continuation of similar programs previously carried out at the hospital. He commended the Al-Basir team for its contribution. The Sudanese Al-Basir medical team has conducted similar services in Eritrea on 15 occasions. The 8th Congress of the National Council of Eritrean-Americans opened with strength and nuclear purposes yesterday, 28 July, in Dallas, Texas, under the theme Firm Foundation Forward with Vision. The annual Congress that was officially opened by Mr. Yosef Sayed, head of the Organizational Affairs, the PFDJ, is being participated by 440 people, various cities in the United States, PFDJ, National Union of Eritrean Women, YPFDJ, and ERi organization. Mr. Burhana Gabriel, charged the affairs at the Eritrean Embassy, underlined the significance of the Congress in strengthening organizational capacity and unity and enhance collective national consciousness and prepare ourselves to effectively face challenges that may encounter. Noting that diplomatic victory is a reflection of internal situation, Mr. Burhana said that efforts initiative conducted over the past years expand organization and participation of the nationals in the national affairs has registered encouraging results. He also said that on the participants of the Congress to thoroughly review the organizational and political activities that have been so far carried out and design clear action programs. Underlining the Congress and festivals are part of the forum in which past activities are reviewed and a roadmap for better outcome designed, Mr. Yosef Sayed called for the continuity of the sober activities assessment and designed persuasive future programs. Mr. Yosef also provided briefing focusing on the objective situation in the homeland in terms of regional and global development. He also explained on the role of the policy of the Eritrean pursuing in peace and stability in the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea free of the external interferences. At the event, reports were presented by all organizations and briefings were provided on the experience and long-sight vision of the EPLF on education in relation with the 5th anniversary of the establishment of Revolution School, possessing the national narrative and modern information system, as well as conflict management and resolution. The Congress is set to continue until 31st July. A total of 400,000 nakfa contributed by government employees and members of the business community in Haikota subzone has been distributed to 80 families of martyrs in the subzone's 12 administrative areas. Mr. Tesfai Takhlai, head of the social services in the subzone, said that each families of martyrs received 5,000 nakfa. Noting that residents of the subzone have regularly supported families of martyrs by cultivating their farmland and assisting with harvesting, Mr. Sheikhuddin Saleh, administrator of the subzone, commended the government employees and business communities for their initiative. In the same vein, members of the defense forces and forestry and wildlife authorities and the police, as well as government employees in Haikota subzone, conducted visits to Banatom factory, an oil factory, and metalwork facilities. During their visits, the participation received a briefing from Lieutenant Colonel Takhle Waldu, Manager of Enterprises, and Mr. Sheikhuddin Saleh, Administrator of the subzone. The Haile branch of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students has provided more than 3 months of vocational training to 86 youth in the subzone. Mr. Shawit Waldai, head of the union branch in the subzone, indicated that the training covered computer technology, still and video camera operation, and satellite and dish installation. The trainees expressed appreciation for the training opportunities and expressed readiness to apply the knowledge and skills they have acquired to improve their livelihoods and serve their communities. Mr. Has Fuadu, acting administrator of the subzone, commended the efforts being made by the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students to enhance the overall capacity of youth and called on the trainees to use the skills they have developed to contribute to the positive influence of their community. Straight ahead is our international news after a short break. Welcome back. The U.S. Department of Defense on Monday announced a 7-year agreement with major defense firms L3Harris Technologies and Lockheed Martin to expand the production of key components for the Patriot Advanced Capability 3 missile segments, enhancement, and terminal high-altitude area defense anti-missile system. The Pentagon noted that it had previously established a series of framework agreements with Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Honeywell specifically for the Patriot missile program. The production expansion drive comes aimed at vast depleting U.S. munition stockpiles as Washington escalates military operation against Iran, the U.S. media reported. Interceptor inventory has become the most pressing issue for the U.S. authorities, and Pentagon has already diverted interceptors from other regions to support its military development in the Middle East. The urgency of the situation was underscored by a recent report from the Center of Strategic and International Studies. The European Union's recent protectionist measures against China has severely undermined Chinese enterprises' confidence in bilateral cooperation, a Chinese commerce official said on Monday. The EU has recently introduced a series of protectionist measures against China, seriously undermining Chinese enterprises' confidence in cooperation with Europe. While the scale of the Sino-EU cooperation is a vast difference for friction, are inevitable, such as disagreements should not be used as pretexts for fabrication false accusations, nor as excuses for imposing restrictions and pressure that undermine practical cooperation. China is willing to work with EU to properly address differences and friction through dialogue and consultation, Lin added. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun on Monday condemned Israel for violating the U.S. brokered framework agreement regarding southern Lebanon. Aoun criticized Israel for ongoing destruction in villages and towns under Israeli control in southern Lebanon, calling such actions as a direct violation of the human rights and international law. He said that incidents clearly breached the framework agreement previously reached for lasting peace and security between Lebanon and Israel. Aoun stressed that Lebanon remains committed to honoring the terms of the agreement, but will not accept Israel's continuing disregard of these international appeals and its previous violation of the deal. The framework agreement achieved on June 26 with the U.S. mediation stipulates the Israeli forces would gradually withdraw from certain parts of the southern Lebanon, while Lebanese army would assume control of these areas. The agreement also calls for the disarmament of the local armed groups. On our last report, Lieutenant General Rawans Mabta of the Chief of the South African Army held talks with Russian counterparts on Tuesday, July 28th, during the visit in Moscow, which his host has resulted in the agreement of a beef-up tie between the two nations' land forces. Mabta, on his second official visit to Russia, was part of the military delegation with Russia's defense ministry said would visit military academies and defense companies after holding talks in the capital. The two sides discussed a joint projection at the Russian General Headquarters aimed at enhancing the combat readiness of both countries' armies, the Russian ministry said in a statement. Agreements were reached on further strengthening cooperation between land forces in various areas. Mabata paying his respect at Moscow's Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers before holding talks with Russian Colonel General Alexander Matanivok, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Land Forces, who thanked South African political and military leadership for what he called is a firm position on the Russian and shared vision of the multipolar world. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of tonight's news. Let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Successful cataract surgery performed on over 400 patients. Congress of the National Council of Eritrean-Americans commences. Pentagon strikes 2 7-year deals with defense against to boost missile production. China warns EU over the protectionist measures. That was the news from ERi-TV Studios. This had been Blitz High reporting. Thanks for watching and have a good night.